We are on the phone right now. A real pleasure for us on the phone. Kevin Mench used to play in the major leagues 8 seasons. Rangers, Brewers, Blue Jays, Nationals. Hit 20
bombs, man.
Hit 20-plus home runs twice. More than a few against my Seattle Mariners. I forgive him for that because he came on the show. Kevin Mench, thank you for being with us here on 104.5 The Team in Albany.
My pleasure, guys. My pleasure.
So, Kevin, the big story of the week around here and really around baseball is Alex Rodriguez getting set to play his last games, at least as a Yankee. You played with him in Texas early on in your career. Just from a baseball standpoint only, what was it like playing with ARod, and what was it like being around him every day?
You know, it's funny. You know, people, I'm just walking around town, people are always like, they know I play with Alex. And they go, I heard he's just, he's an ass, he's this, he's that. And I said, people say the same thing about Michael Jordan. When you have that kind of status, that talent, you can't let a lot of people into your world. If you let one in, you've got to let everybody in. So I was actually fortunate enough to be in his little world. He has 2 little Cuban guys he runs around with that he's trusted since he was, back in high school. And Alex looked out for me. He was, he taught me how to respect, baseball, how to play, what to expect. And when people ask me, who's the best that I play with, it's Alex, hands down. I mean, everything that he's been through, the steroids and all the other stuff, talent-wise, the guy played a premium position, and he did it for a number of years, and he was still able to do what he did. So, hands down, the best that I played with, or I've seen play.
Kevin, Chris Honorado here with Brady. We so often ask, how should somebody be remembered? But I want to ask you, how will you remember Alex Rodriguez, all-encompassing Alex Rodriguez?
He always had a smile on his face. He never let, you never really saw things get to him. The money, he needed to be in New York. Texas wasn't his place. He wasn't, the best athlete needs to be on the biggest stage. He's there. I know Derek was there, and that was, his territory. But Alex needed something bigger than Texas. He needed to be on that stage. And I want, like I said, despite it'll always be, he cheated and he did this. So I don't know. I just know that he had fun and he gave everything he had. And like I said, to be able to play shortstop, for that many years and to be able to put up the numbers he did, it's incredible.
Kevin Mench, former teammate of Alex Rodriguez, played 8 seasons in the major leagues, namely with the Rangers, the Brewers. And we hear a lot, Kevin, about ARod's insecurities and that he's phony. But we also hear he's a great teammate. Did you see both sides of that? Was him being insecure, was that evident to his teammates, or is that something we're more hearing about now?
It's something I guess you guys are hearing more about now. He was always, in the clubhouse, he'd always grab the younger guys and pull them aside and want to lead. He was, and I'm sure Junior Griffey did that with him when he was in Seattle. Alex was, 18 when he got to the big leagues, and you've got guys like Edgar Martinez, Jed Buhner, and Junior there, leading him the way. And I think that's one thing that Alex really took pride in, was being able to lead, the younger guys. Michael Young, for instance, who was here, when Michael was coming up, Alex was here. So being able to watch and see, the effort that he put in. When you're the number 1 pick in the draft, you've got to set yourself apart. And how you do that is how Alex approached, pregame, postgame type of stuff. He was always, involved doing stuff and giving everything that he had.
I read that Michael Young said he owes his career to Alex Rodriguez, who really kind of taught him the way in Texas. And I think there's some real validity to what the Yankees are planning to do with ARod as a mentor after this season. Kevin Mench with us here on ESPN Radio 104.5 The Team. Kevin, Alex Rodriguez, obviously you mentioned there's this God-given talent that he had. I'm interested as a former ball player, your perspective on this, because so many of these great players we've seen over the last 20, 25 years or so may not get into the Hall of Fame. What are your thoughts on their place in history? Should they go to Cooperstown? Should it be like a separate wing at the Hall of Fame? How should we include these guys in history because they've played such a large part?
It's a tough question because, just there are those that did get caught, and I guarantee you there's a whole lot more that didn't.
Yeah.
We talk about this all the time. If you have the money there's going to be doctors out there trying to find a means and a way to try and hide it and mask it. And, it's unfortunate they don't have the testing to be able to do that. So, I don't know. If you want to base it just on talent and the production, yes. Alex deserves hands down. Like I said, to be able to play shortstop in the major leagues and the size that he was, regardless of, coming out of high school, he was just a big kid, and for him, so he had the talent, and so so I don't know. I would vote for him, but like I said, there are a lot of guys who never admitted to doing it but got caught doing it. Alex admitted to it, and it's funny. The guys that admitted to it, Giambi and those guys, what happened? All right, everybody's moved on. It's those that have never admitted to it, and it got caught, and still saying I didn't do it. All you do is keep hearing about it, and Alex, I texted him the other day and told him, I said, it takes more of a man to admit when he's done wrong and to move on than it does to sit there and hide from it. And he did originally, but he did fess up to it as well. I told him, I had a lot of respect for him. He, like I said, he looked out for me, and like I said, I owe a lot of my career to him because he was, he took me under his wing and helped out.
Kevin, what's the percentage or the perception of ARod around baseball? Now, you love him. His teammates in New York love him. So that seems that the guys that played with him really like him. When guys that don't play, have never played with him, ask about ARod, are they surprised to hear you compliment him? Like, does ARod have a reputation as a jerk, or do all players universally know what kind of guy ARod is?
No, the guys that have played with him understand Alex, and the ones that haven't played with him don't understand him. So it's just like the media. People don't get a sense of being around him, because all it takes is one bad misconception, and then the media can run with it, or a teammate or something. People like say AJ Brzezinski, people didn't like AJ just because of the way he acted, but once you're around AJ and understand him, that's just who he is. You can't change who he is. That's just how it is. And just some guy, the younger guys now, I don't know. I don't know how. I haven't really had a chance to actually ask anyone really about it. But like you said, if his teammates have said, Alex is a great guy, and he's been, he wants to be front and center, and he'll talk to you and everything else. That's just who he is.
Kevin Mench, former teammate of Alex Rodriguez, hit more than 20 home runs twice in 8 major league seasons: Rangers, Brewers, Blue Jays, Nationals. Kevin, I want to totally switch gears here. This is your home for the Yankees, but we've got a lot of Met fans in this area as well. And I came across this story pretty recently, but it's about 3 years old, and it was a Sports Illustrated article, and it was called "The Best Player You Never Saw Play." And it was about this guy named Brian Cole, who was a Mets prospect, early 2000s, who passed away before he ever got to the big leagues. And you were quoted in that article, and so was Albert Pujols and CC Sabathia, and they all said that this guy was the best player we never saw. Tell us about Brian Cole and why this story is so interesting.
Yes, I first met Brian in 2000 playing against him in St. Lucie in the Florida State League, and we ended up going together and playing against each other in the Fall League. He was actually killed the next spring leaving spring training. Brian just had this aura about him. He had the talent he had the speed, the power, and he wasn't a very big guy, but he could move. And he always had I remember him always had a smile on his face. And I think what my quote was, people got a chance to say they've seen Haley's comment. Yeah, I got a chance to see Brian Cole play. And it was amazing just to see him and the talent that he had, because they had some good prospects around him as well. But, just like I said, just being able a chance to see something like that. And I never, really thought much after that. You always talk to guys and go, "Hey, yeah, you remember that spring when Brian was killed?" Or, and then somebody called me and said, "Hey, I want to talk to you about Brian Cole." And it's good that, people get a chance to hear about somebody that they never got a chance to see play.
Kevin, I'm going to switch gears one more time on you. The big story also this week is that Tim Tebow is going to try to go from football to baseball after 11 years off. And my question to you is, number one, do you think it's legitimate, or do you think it's a publicity stunt? And then two, tell us just exactly how unlikely this is, because, look, I haven't picked up a bat since high school. I'm 26 years old. I couldn't go out and hit 85 now, nevertheless 95.
Yeah, exactly. You sit there and you watch, I help out in a wooden bat collegiate league around here, and guys throw 85, and it's looking like it's 95. And I've only been, I haven't been playing for about 6 years, but, guys start throwing, mid to upper 90s, and it probably looks like 110, especially if you haven't seen it. So I don't know. I don't know if it's a publicity stunt, but it's not something you can just. It's not like riding a bike where you just get on it and start going. This is something that you've got to develop and adjust to, especially, and then you've got all of a sudden, breaking balls and everything else. You haven't seen. It's not something you just jump in a batting cage and just start going. Go, oh yeah, I'm going to try this. I mean, this is something that you're going to have to put, time into it. So has he been? We don't know what he's been doing for the last year. Maybe when he's not doing his commentating for the SEC network, maybe he's out playing. I don't know. But just to jump in there and see 95, it's. Yes, if he is an athlete, yes, but to be able to hitting a baseball is the hardest thing to do in sports. It's hands down. There's nothing harder. Whether it's 55 or 105, it is still the hardest thing to hit.
There's no chance. There's just no chance.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I love Tebow. I think he's a great guy. I love what he stands for, but the odds are very much stacked against him. Kevin Mench, former big leaguer, long time, 8 seasons, 20-plus home runs twice, played with ARod early in his career in Texas. Kevin, we really appreciate the perspective and you coming on. This was great.
My pleasure, guys.